Greetings. In today's video we will discuss about a book called Extreme Ownership by Jocko, Willink and Leif Babin. After we run through summary and detail by chapter, we will have a look at the key takeaways. And stay with me till the end of video for bonus fun facts. Extreme ownership is a leadership philosophy outlined by Jocko Willink and Leif Babin in their book Extreme Ownership: How U.S. Navy SEALs Lead and Win. Here's a detailed explanation of each sentence in a new line. Extreme ownership is the concept that leaders are responsible for everything that happens under their command. This means that they must take ownership of both successes and failures, instead of blaming external factors or other individuals. By taking extreme ownership, leaders can create a culture of accountability and improve their team's performance. This philosophy requires leaders to have a strong sense of self-discipline and self-awareness, as well as the ability to make difficult decisions. To practice extreme ownership, leaders must communicate clearly, delegate effectively, and empower their team to take ownership of their own roles. Leaders must also prioritize the mission and the team's overall success above their own personal interests or egos. Extreme ownership can be applied to any situation, whether in the military, business, or personal life. It requires a mindset shift from thinking I can't control what happens to me to I am responsible for my own success and the success of those under my leadership. Ultimately, extreme ownership is about taking control of your own life and circumstances, instead of allowing outside forces to dictate your path. By embodying the principles of extreme ownership, leaders can inspire and empower their team to achieve greatness. Now here's a more detailed explanation of each chapter in Extreme Ownership by Jocko Willink and Leif Babin. Introduction. The authors introduce the concept of extreme ownership and explain how they learned it through their experiences as Navy SEALs. They argue that the principles of extreme ownership are applicable to any organization or individual looking to improve their leadership skills. Chapter 1: Extreme Ownership. The authors explain that extreme ownership means taking responsibility for everything that happens under your command. They emphasize that leaders must not make excuses or blame others for failures. Instead, they must take ownership of the situation and find ways to improve. Chapter 2: No bad teams, only bad leaders. The authors argue that blaming the team for failures is a cop-out and a sign of poor leadership. They explain that a good leader can turn around a bad team by taking extreme ownership and improving their own leadership skills. Chapter 3: Believe. The authors emphasize the importance of believing in the mission and the team's ability to accomplish it. They explain that a leader's belief can be contagious and inspire the team to achieve more than they thought possible. Chapter 4: Check the ego. The authors warn against the dangers of ego and the negative impact it can have on leadership. They explain that leaders must put the team's success above their own personal interests or egos. Chapter 5: Cover and Move. The authors introduce the concept of cover and move, which means working together as a team to accomplish the mission. They explain that each member of the team must cover the other's backs and move together towards the objective. Chapter 6: Simple. The authors argue that simplicity is key to successful leadership. They explain that complex plans and strategies are often confusing and ineffective, whereas simple plans are easier to understand and execute. Chapter 7: Prioritize and Execute. The authors introduce the prioritize and execute principle, which means identifying the most important tasks and focusing on them one at a time. They explain that this approach helps to avoid distractions and achieve the mission more efficiently. Chapter 8: Decentralized Command. The authors explain that decentralized command means empowering team members to make decisions and take ownership of their roles. They argue that this approach improves decision-making and allows the team to adapt more quickly to changing circumstances. Chapter 9: Plan. The authors emphasize the importance of planning and preparation in successful leadership. They explain that good leaders must anticipate problems and plan accordingly to minimize the impact. Chapter 10: Leading up and down the chain of command. The authors argue that leaders must be able to communicate effectively both up and down the chain of command. They explain that good leaders listen to their superiors, communicate clearly with their subordinates, and maintain good relationships with everyone in the organization. Conclusion. The authors summarize the key principles of extreme ownership and emphasize that anyone can become a great leader by practicing these principles. They encourage readers to take ownership of their own lives and circumstances, and to strive for excellence in everything they do. The key takeaways from the book are: 1. Take extreme ownership. Leaders must take full responsibility for their team's performance, including the failures. This requires humility, self-reflection, and a willingness to admit mistakes and learn from them. 2. Clarify the mission. Leaders must clearly communicate the goals and objectives of the team and ensure that everyone understands their role in achieving them. 3. Prioritize and execute. Leaders must focus on the most important tasks and execute them with discipline and determination, while also being flexible and adaptable when unexpected challenges arise. 4. Decentralize command. Leaders must empower their team members to take initiative and make decisions within their area of responsibility, while still maintaining overall strategic control. 5. Build and maintain trust. Leaders must establish and maintain trust with their team members by being honest, transparent, and authentic, and by leading by example. 6. Be disciplined. Leaders must cultivate discipline and consistency in themselves and their team members, maintaining high standards of performance and holding themselves and others accountable. 7. Use decentralized communication. Leaders must communicate clearly and frequently with their team members, using a decentralized approach that allows for rapid decision-making and flexibility. Overall, the book emphasizes the importance of taking ownership, prioritizing and executing tasks, empowering team members, building trust, and maintaining discipline and consistency in order to achieve success in any organization or team. Bonus: here are some fun facts about the book and its authors. Jocko Willink and Leif Babin are both former Navy SEAL officers with over 20 years of combined military experience, including multiple combat tours in Iraq. The idea for the book came about when Willink was invited to speak to a group of executives about leadership, and he realized that many of the principles he had learned in the military could be applied to the business world. Extreme Ownership became a New York Times bestseller within weeks of its release in 2015, and has since sold over 1 million copies. Willink and Babin have gone on to co-found Echelon Front, a leadership consulting firm that helps businesses and organizations apply the principles of extreme ownership to their operations. Willink is also known for his popular podcast, the Jocko Podcast, in which he discusses leadership, discipline, and personal development. The book has been endorsed by a number of high-profile individuals, including former NFL coach and current ESPN analyst John Gruden, who said that Extreme Ownership is the best book on leadership I have ever read. The principles of extreme ownership have been embraced by a wide range of organizations, including sports teams, Fortune 500 companies, and the U.S. military itself. Thank you for watching this video. Hope you find it useful to develop better you better me. If you like this video, please like and subscribe, and don't forget to check my other videos.